Hi, Tampa Native Show fans. Mario Nunez here with you, and we're standing in front of the Colonnade Restaurant. You might have already guessed it. This week's show is all about the Colonnade. You know, there was a time in our history when if you wanted seafood, you might venture out to the Sea Breeze or perhaps the Mullet Inn out on the Causeway, and who can forget Mirabella's Seafood Restaurant right there on Dale Mabry. They're all gone now, but thank goodness for 75 years we've been hooked on the Colonnade. Stay tuned. This week's show, the Tampa Native Show, is dedicated to the Colonnade and its wonderful history. We'll be right back.
I remember Tampa, the way she used to be, the places we would run to, the faces we would see. Yes, I remember Tampa, the sweet soft memories, a city rising on the move, a simple yet progressive groove. Yes, I remember Tampa, she remembers me.
Hello and welcome to the Tampa Native Show. Stay tuned now for the most entertaining webcast from the studios at Tampa Digital in Ybor City, Florida. Join your hosts Mario Nunez, Steve Canella, and the 15-Minute Girl as they celebrate growing up in Tampa. From Shock Armstrong to Shakey's Pizza, from Braddock Street to Buffalo Avenue. Get ready to call in and tell us your stories, because sharing your memories has never been this much fun. And now, Mario Nunez and Steve Canella.
She remembers me.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Tampa Native Show. My name is Mario Nunez. I'm seated alongside my broadcast partner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Steve Canella.
And just off camera there to our right is the 15-Minute Girl. Say hello, darling.
Hello, darling, and hello, everyone.
And boy, have we got a great show lined up for you tonight. As you've already seen, we're introducing tonight one of Tampa's most premier seafood restaurants. For 75 years, we've been hooked on the Colonnade. We've also got two guests that are going to be in studio with us tonight to talk a little bit about Bayshore Boulevard and its history. That's Jim Judy and Mary Judy Brown are going to be with us as well. So tonight's going to be one of those shows you don't want to go away. Not even during the commercial breaks. You want to stay right there because if you've got your soft drinks, your beverages, and your snacks, good. You're ahead of the game. Stevie, how was your week?
It was great. How about yours?
Very, very good. What did we do last weekend?
We had some good memories this weekend.
Yeah, we did. What did we do?
The India Fest, the Flavor of West Tampa.
Flavor of West Tampa.
In fact, I'm still full from Saturday.
Mercy. We had a great time. We saw so many friends at the Flavor of West Tampa. We also had the opportunity to go out to the State Fairgrounds and mix and mingle out there with our friends. I mean, we had a culture-filled weekend for sure, and we ate quite a bit too. A lot of those, the footage that we took from that afternoon is up on the Facebook page. If you'd like to check that out, you know, if you haven't clicked on your Molita numbers yet, this would be a good time. The 15-Minute Girl has told us that we're running a little bit behind schedule. Last week we had about 20 numbers by this time picked, so the numbers are all out there and available. We've got
about 10 so far.
Oh, good. The numbers are coming then. The numbers are coming. We've got Bolita drawing tonight for a Tampa Native shirt. Miss Whiteside is also going to be making a special announcement. She told us a little bit about that before the show.
That's going to be great too. Yeah.
We've got
save that
pictures.
for later.
We've got pictures. We've got some great stories to tell, and we want to hear from you as well.
So a lot of memories tonight.
We'll be asking for your phone calls, as we always do here on the Tampa Native Show, because like we say each and every week, sharing our memories
has never been this much fun.
And it always is.
Mar, you know, also, whenever you think of certain landmarks in Tampa, or certain streets even, it brings back memories. And tonight is going to be that show.
And the memories are visceral ones.
They really are.
If you're a Tampa native and you've been here long enough and somebody says Bayshore Boulevard, you know exactly what that means.
Right.
If somebody says, hey man, when was the last time you were at the Colonnade? You can probably tell them it was last week. But we all have memories.
A lot of memories just come right
75 years. So
exactly.
you can, it's safe to say if you're 80 years old and you've been in Tampa that length of time, you probably remember the Colonnade all throughout your life.
And most Tampa natives either shared a birthday party there, a wedding anniversary, you name it. It's some type of celebration.
Special occasions. And
Definitely.
Speaking of special occasions, we had one yesterday when we visited the Colonnade. Let's take a look at another one of those little video clips from the Colonnade. Hi, Tampa Native Show fans. Look at this amazing table full of fabulous seafood. Look, let me take a minute and explain to you what I'm sitting in front of here. This is a crunchy, crunchy chicken with a sort of sweet and sour sauce, for landlubbers, of course. Fried green tomatoes with a spicy horseradish sauce. What we have here is an incredible plate of seafood pasta. This here in front of us is wild Florida alligator, breaded and delicious. Featured star of the day, and the catch of the week, and of course the first catch of the season, these are stone crab claws. And sitting in front of me here is a Frito Misto seafood salad, which includes calamari and shrimp and clams, and I'm going to just show you how good this is. That's delicious. Seafood from the Colonnade, 75 years and still going strong. Get on over here.
How about that? How was the Florida alligator?
Woo!
Delicious.
I was afraid to touch it because I was thinking, you don't want to get too close to that alligator, but they assured me it was farm raised and pretty tame. No, it was good. It tastes like chicken, right, Steve? No, it didn't taste like chicken, actually.
Tastes like alligator.
No, it tastes just like alligator. And that was my first experience with that. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to taste some of that good stuff. And I'm sorry you weren't there, Stevie.
I couldn't make it. I wish I could.
Yeah.
There was a lot of food there.
Next time for sure. Man, look at, did you see that plate?
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, did you see that plate full of stone crab claws? Yeah, that was all good stuff. So listen, we've got so much more in store for you tonight. We've got pictures coming up. We want to make sure that we solicit for your phone calls. So if you haven't got your cell phones handy, this would be a good time to go get those. The 15-minute girl has informed us during that little video clip that the Bolita numbers are coming in, so we're excited about that. Our guests are soon to arrive, and we prepped before the show with Mr. Jim Judy, and boy does he's a great storyteller.
They've got some good stories.
Yeah, great storyteller. And we'll let them tell, we won't steal too much of their thunder, we'll let them tell us all the good stuff.
It's going to be an exciting show tonight.
I think so.
A lot of stuff to talk about.
And fast-paced.
Oh, very fast.
And fast, and we've got lots of special things going for you, especially towards the back end of the show, so we don't want anybody to leave there in front of their computer screens.
Don't touch that dial.
Don't touch that dial, don't touch that keyboard, unless it's to refresh, and we hope that you don't freeze up too much, only if you have to.
Right.
Well, I'm excited, Stevie. Ring the bell, have some water.
That was easy.
Now our first break of the evening. Our guests will be coming in here shortly. Stay right there. We'll be right back with Miss Stacy Whiteside.
Stay tuned.
The Whiteside family. Stay right there.
Hi, we're the Tampa natives.
Welcome to our show.
I remember Tampa, the way she used to be.
Hi, my name is Steve Canella. What would you think if I told you there was a live interactive webcast all about growing up in Tampa?
Hi, they call me the 15-minute girl. What if I told you there's a show where you can hear all of those wonderful stories of our youth?
My name is Mario Nunez. How would you feel if I told you there was a place you could go each week to feel those memories come alive? A place where you'd feel as if you'd been dipped in magic waters.
A show where you can see all those iconic images of Tampa and be transported back to her glorious youth. A veritable trip down memory lane.
Those times spent at Britton Plaza, the pizza parlor after high school football games, the Colonnade, or how about going downtown to the Tampa, the Palace, and the Florida theaters?
A show where photographs and videos of places like Lowry Park, Al Lopez Field, the Florida State Fair when it was on North Boulevard, and Tampa Highline come alive each week.
A place where you can call in and share your memories or listen to our guests tell their stories of growing up in Tampa.
The memories would be so thick you'd have to brush them away from your face. Well, this place does exist, but not just in your imagination, in the palm of your hand, or on a laptop, or a desktop, or your very own personal viewing device.
You mean like this?
No, like this.
And like this. And it's called the Tampa Native Show. Now, doesn't that sound cool?
We'd like to welcome those thousands of happy viewers and fans to our brand new online home at TampaNativeShow.com. Remember, TampaNativeShow.com. Why? Because sharing your memories has never been this much fun. So until we see you then, salute and happy days.
That's a wrap.
Yes, I remember Tampa. She remembers me.
It's fun.
You know, it was a good thing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. That was a terrific break, and as you can see, this isn't Stacy Whiteside. This is Mr. Jim Judy and Mary Judy Brown, and they're joining us now to tell us a little bit about their family history here. We talked with them before we went on the air, and I tell you what, Jim, you've got some great stories to tell. Say hello to everybody, and tell them that's our camera right over there, and and tell everybody a little bit about your family history. It's wonderfully unique.
Well, we're happy to be here, first
Thank
of
you.
all. My sister, Mary, has written a book on the history of the Bayshore because our great-grandfather came down to the Tampa Bay area from Tennessee, and he ended up buying the Bayshore, basically, and his son, my grandfather, James T. Swan, is reputed to have sold every lot on the property, and it was basically all orange groves then, and all of the beautiful homes were built because of my grandfather and great-grandfather.
Now, that Swan name is a name that most of us that have been here all of our lives will know, especially if we roam the streets of South Tampa, which I did. I had the pleasure of doing. And Mary, you were telling us an interesting little sidebar that they had the foresight, the presence of mind, the vision, if you will, to have built those homes off of the water a good enough distance. Right. Expound on that a little bit.
Well, I'd be happy to. They did have that vision. In fact, as I look back and reflect upon my great-grandfather, he was a true visionary type person, and he saw that that the public would benefit by having this wonderful Bayshore Boulevard going along the rim of Tampa Bay. And so therefore, they set all the beautiful homes away from the actual rim of the bay, which was, to me, extraordinary.
Well enough back so that they could build a wide sidewalk. And I think it's still in the Guinness Book as being one of the longest continuous sidewalks in the United States of America.
Great for jogging.
You can look that up, Stephen. If I've made it up, boy, it's a good sound story anyway.
But I believe, the longest one.
I believe that's true. And at the same time, we also have the birth of Bayshore Boulevard, which gives us an opportunity, a place for our Gasparilla Parade to have thrived for all these years.
Yeah.
We can go back as far as those Christmas card years of the 50s and 60s.
Certain landmarks.
Bayshore was also...
a hospital, right?
There was a hospital wasn't there a hospital at one of the first hospitals in Tampa that's located?
St. Joseph's, maybe? Or?
No, it was a Latin hospital.
That's what it was. Remember, we met someone.
Spanish-oriented hospital, and it was socialized medicine. You pay into it, and you belong to this club.
Cradle to grave.
And you cradle to grave.
We're talking 30s, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
one of our ardent fans was born in that hospital. As a matter of fact, I think she was the first baby born in that hospital, which is really something to behold. It's a neat thing to be able to say.
Landmarks.
We remember Bayshore as the kids too, because that's where we went to see the fireworks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was it like when you were coming up as descendants of the Swans and of course Judy's and just how was that? Where did you go to school in Tampa? How was it in those early years? Because it was a little bit before us.
Well, in those early years, we went to local public schools.
Okay.
My father was in the military, and so we moved around at a later time. We lived in Washington, D.C., so I went to an all-girls school and had an opportunity to meet President Kennedy there. And
nice.
yes, it was just mind-boggling. He was just such a lovely man. And my brother went to Culver Military School and during his high school years, but then we returned home and my father retired. And I went to Plant High School and a graduate, and our children have graduated from Plant, and hopefully my grandchildren will attend Plant also, as far as education goes. But I did want to say something about, in addition, about how special the Bayshore is. It's a linear park.
Yes.
And in the original days, around 1907, at the turn of the century, the county owned part of the Bayshore Boulevard, and then the city owned the part that went down to Rome Avenue, I believe, right, Jim? Yeah, and so those two connected at a period of time, and it was after the big hurricane of 1921 that the balustrades were put or placed on the Bayshore, replacing the walls that were originally there in 1907. So the beautiful balustrades just recently have all been totally refurbished.
Have all been refurbished, yeah.
And
What
it's
a
amazing. It's amazing.
What a great legacy, and that's something that I think whenever, and you know, because whenever there's a big sporting event at the stadium, whether it's the Bucks or whether the Rays across, they always show the Bayshore. They always show the Sunshine Skyway. These are landmarks
for sure.
visual landmarks that whenever you see them, you know, oh, that's Tampa.
An interesting twist that you may not know about the Bayshore, it was due to be revamped again when Sandy Friedman was mayor. And she really fought to do it. And she had a lot of opposition because they said it's elitist and only the wealthy South Tampa people could use it. Well, of course, that's not true. I mean, you go over there every day and watch people jogging and bicycling,
Rollerblading and walking with their
all of
dogs.
that. But then the argument came up, well, you should have 3 lanes of traffic here and 3 there with the grass median in the middle planted. And some people said, no, the roads should be together and the grass median should be against the balustrade. Well, you'll find the Bayshore is half and half. They've split the difference, and half of it now has the grass down the center, and then half has the grass on the Bayshore side. So things do change.
We know that when the crews are out there working, we know that their Bayshore Boulevard still holds all of that. You know, we need to take care of Bayshore Boulevard and make sure that it always remains as it is.
That's some amazing photos tonight, too.
Yeah, we've got a photograph, I think, of the book cover. We want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see what that looks like. There you go. Beautiful. Mary, there's your book.
There's my book.
And there's the Bayshore.
Boulevard of Dreams.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love the color.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank
that's
you
beautiful.
so much.
And that book is available where?
Actually, it's gone through 2 printings,
Okay.
and right now the Tampa Historical Society here has the book. The History Center, the Tampa History Center, also carries the book. So
That's where the proceeds go to
Tampa Historical Society.
Wonderful.
They're the ones that sponsored, the production of this
nice.
book. But one other thing I'd like to point out is that the high rises didn't come about until the 60s or 70s.
Good point.
And commercial development ordinances came about to stop any further development as far as gas stations and things. There were 2 gas stations on the Bayshore,
right.
and to keep it not commercial. But one of our former mayors, D.B. McKay, he was a 4-time mayor. He started the quest for the high-rise apartments, as they were called originally, back in the late 60s.
Interesting.
And then in the 70s, that was the boom of high-rises and condominiums that we see today.
Amazing connection to Tampa.
We've got some photos that we'd like to show, and if you'd like to talk over these when you see them, Mary, feel free to. Well, there's the early 1900s, and I don't think any of us were around during that period of time, but
Jim,
look
is
at
that the Chapin House?
Look at what humble beginnings.
Look at this.
That was the Chapin House, perhaps, and this is 1912. It says Florida Asphalt Block Paving Company postcard.
1920.
And notice the wall. The original wall was
those light
structured
posts?
like that with the light post
Yep,
Light
yep.
posts on
in the
wall.
walls.
The Chapin House, I'll give a quick little comment on
Please.
it. It's an absolutely gorgeous mansion, and Miss Chapin was and her husband was one of the first people to develop, starting on the Bayshore. She even had her own private streetcar, and when they sold the house, and I won't go into it because it's not nice to talk names, but another family bought it and really just let it go to seed.
Oh.
And they had hoped, obviously, just to let it go to seed, but somebody would buy the property,
Of course.
to build a high rise. Well, the house finally, I think, didn't it fall down or
It did.
burn?
It burned,
It burned,
actually.
I think, and so I forget what exactly is up there today, but it's some sort of a high rise.
Well,
Incredible story.
we've got some more photos we're going to show real quick. And Mary, again, we appreciate your
We sure do.
commentary over these
be delighted to.
you guys are the keepers of the stories.
And I think brick streets, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
And
they were
kerosene
paved in
lamps
brick
more than
streets.
likely, right? In the early days, kerosene lamps.
But all brick street.
That's 1925.
From Dakota Avenue.
Here's another one from the early days. And you can see,
You see the
again,
brick streets,
humble beginnings. That's a Burger Brothers photograph. It has its, I think, right there in the right-hand corner.
What
you
would
can
we
see.
do without Burkett
Well, I was
Brothers?
just
I
going to tell
know.
you that, Jim. Thank
That's-
goodness for the Burger Brothers because they documented so much of our early
They
history
really
here.
did. They're just fabulous.
And they went everywhere with their camera. They had those little trucks.
Everywhere.
We have photographs that we've shown on here before with them, and
The ones behind us, actually. In
Thank
the
goodness.
studio.
Yeah, thank goodness for those guys. You know, the 15-minute girl and myself have the dubious honor of being married some 31 years ago at the Tampa Garden Center, which is
on the Bayshore. On the Bayshore, yes.
It was September 7th, as I recall, 1980, and I tell you what, whatever possessed us to marry outdoors on September 7th.
I wanted a garden wedding.
And she got her garden wedding, and boy, was everybody a sweaty mess by the time we started dancing.
Oh, my goodness.
It was a good time.
Well, do you know that the Tampa Garden Center was very instrumental in helping renovations back in the latter part of the 1930s, when the WPA came in and put a lot of people to work on the Bayshore and reconstructing. Well, those women got word in edgewise about what kind of plantings they would have on the Bayshore, and they even had a bridle path. We know several people who would ride their horses down the Bayshore on the bridle path, so they got their wish to have everything structured like they did.
Oak trees could talk, huh, Jim? Yeah. They've been there for all those years. And
there was also a marvelous little creek that ran down and went under the Bayshore that finally dried up, I guess, due to building and everything.
Sure.
But Jimmy Furman and Jimmy Warren and Jamie Grable and I used to go there and skip rocks and fool around the creek.
There's some Tampa names that we're familiar with as well.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Well, other things did happen too. I do remember some young boys with slingshots going down, and as people would get off with the streetcars, take shots at them.
Mischievous boys, bad news bears.
Women have a habit of backing down off of...
and give them a big old target when you're coming off that
target when you come off the street. And my friends had BB guns.
Yeah, well, they've evolved from the slingshots into the BB guns. Listen, we are
history, though.
We're so fortunate to have you here with us, and we know this segment went by so fast, but we would like to extend the courtesy and an invitation for you guys to come back. If you would.
Appreciate that. We'd love to.
And we'll flesh out this conversation, and we'll even get some phone calls, because maybe by that time you can set it up and you can tell your friends to call in that night, and it'll be a lot of fun.
And I've got to read that book, too.
We definitely want to have you back. We're so pleased to have you with us.
We sure enjoyed it.
Yes, indeed. We certainly did. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, you all.
Pleasure having you with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Judy and Mary Judy Brown. Talk about Tampa natives. You got two of them right there in the flesh. We'll be right back in just a minute. This time, I believe we're coming back with Miss Stacy Whiteside. Stay right there.
Hi, everybody. Mario Nunez here, co-host of the Tampa Native Show. We're sitting here in the showroom of Larmen Furniture, established in 1931. This year, about to celebrate its 80th anniversary. And I'd like to introduce to you at this time Jimmy Calomares. Jimmy is the owner of Larmen Furniture and member of the family for a long time, and we'd like to say thank you, Jimmy. And how are you today?
Thank you. Fine. Doing well.
Doing good?
Yeah.
Why don't you take a minute and maybe tell some of the folks that haven't heard the story a little bit about Larmen Furniture.
Well, Larmen was started in 1931 with my wife's grandfather, and he and a partner was called Friday Larmen.
Okay.
Initially, and then
Mr. Friday was the other gentleman?
Mr. Friday was the other gentleman.
Okay.
And then in I believe it was 1955. Mr. Friday wanted to get out, and then that's when my father-in-law, Curtis Larmen, got in the business and bought his share out, and they had the business until my wife's grandfather wanted to get out.
Sure.
His name
At some point, everybody tries to get out.
Yeah.
At some point.
So, and then once he got involved, Curtis Larmen got involved, the business started growing, and because they had their hard times. They started during the Depression,
of course, 31.
So, and then once my father-in-law got involved, he grew it, and then my sister-in-law Cheryl had gotten involved, and then 5 years later is when I was asked to see if I wanted to join the company, and 20 years later, you know.
What a wonderful family legacy. So once again, Jimmy, let me just say on behalf of the Tampa Native Show and all of our fans, thank you so much to you and to the Larmen family for stepping up and being one of our first sponsors here in this this new show with Tampa Digital. Thank you so much.
Mario, thank you. We're excited about it. Whether you're a Tampa business or doing business in Tampa, we just thought it was a natural fit. We're Tampa natives, and we're just excited to be part of this wonderful sponsorship, and we look forward to the relationship.
Thank you again. So for Jimmy Calomares, this is Mario Nunez sitting inside the lovely showroom of Larmen Furniture. Been here since 1931, celebrating this year 80 years in business. Talk about Tampa natives. So on behalf, again, of the Tampa Native Show, this is Mario Nunez saying salute and happy days.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And look who's joined us here on set in studio. That's Miss Stacy Whiteside. of the Whiteside fans. Say hello, Stacy.
Hello.
Colonnade Restaurants, all things good about the Colonnade tonight. Now listen.
So many memories.
We want to make sure that this is a good time for you. Go ahead and take your phones out of your pockets, activate your phones, give us a phone call. We're going to talk all things Colonnade. And if you've got a question that you just have to have answered, we got the answer lady on set with us. Stevie, give them that phone number right quick.
The phone number is 518-0816. That's 813 area code, 518-0816. And I think Chuck will be putting that number up on the screen here shortly, so look out for that.
It's great. It's great that you've put it out there like that because. Yep.
Oh, it's on the computer right now.
It's on the computer right now.
Right on the viewer, right below the viewer.
And it's a good thing you've memorized that number, Stevie, because I don't have a clue.
Oh no,
Stacy,
I did. Thank
we
goodness.
went out there yesterday to your place of business, and I tell you what, Jeff was there, one of your chefs, one of your master chefs, and he rolled out the red carpet. At the beginning, we showed everybody a wonderful plate full of food. We're going to talk a little bit about the food, but before we do that, let's talk a little bit about the history. I know most of us that have been here in Tampa all of our lives, we've driven by the Colonnade. We've eaten countless meals at the Colonnade, but maybe we don't know the history. How did it all begin? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, the property that the Colonnade sits on was actually the property of my great-grandparents, Lois and Richard Whiteside. My great-grandfather was a dentist here in Ybor City.
Okay.
And he would walk down Bayshore to go to work every day. And they had two boys, Richard, the oldest, and Jack, both high school graduates.
Go Panthers.
And my great-grandmother just decided that she wanted to start a little restaurant. When it originally opened, it was only outside with the stools out front. A lot of people have seen that first picture. And that's just how the story, and it expanded from there. There's been 4 buildings. The building that people visit now is actually the 4th building.
Wow.
The second building was an enclosure of the first building. That burned down in '55. And then the building most people are familiar with now is the 3rd building, where everyone would buzz the Colonnade or buzz the Nade, as they would say.
In the 50s, it was more like a drive-in. It was almost like the Happy Days Arnold's Drive-In.
Correct.
Same
It had that kind of feel to it.
Atmosphere and feel.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably a Fonzie there and a
Well,
Richie Cunningham.
in the 50s, we had a love affair. We talked about it last week because we did our show on the drive-ins. In the 50s, we had a love affair with the automobile. And so it was all things drive-in, it was all things drive-in restaurant. We just wanted to be in our cars as much as we could.
Right.
So the A&W, the Steak and Shake, and Goody Goodies, certainly Frisch's Big Boy, and of course the Colonnade. We talked a little bit about the Colonnade's famous olive-laden.
Olives and the cherry coke.
In the cherry. So
olives in the Coke.
Olives in the Coke.
And then we would do cherry Cokes and vanilla Cokes. Now they have those freestyle machines at the restaurants.
Right.
But this was the old days. And the olives in the Coke, it was a green olive with a seed. There's really no true knowledge of why it happened. We joke that my great-grandmother liked her gin and her martinis, so she would stick one in hers and then stick one in the Coke.
And you know, reading some of these forums, if you really had it in well with the waiter or waitress, you might get maybe 2 or 3 olives instead of 1.
Correct. It's a treasure.
Yeah. Exactly.
Olives instead of onions. Thank goodness for that, because you know those martinis, you could go either way.
The hamburgers were delicious.
Yeah.
With the special sauce, right?
Yes,
Sauce.
POX. Pickles,
Yeah.
onion, sauce. The X stood for sauce.
POX.
POX.
Yes,
How
you
about
would ask
that?
for your...
We did ask Jay yesterday, and he was very gracious to show us around, and he told us it was POX.
Yep.
Pickles, onions, and special sauce.
They were special.
So you guys were special saucing it before Mickey D's ever decided to do special sauce. Well, that's great. And was it always seafood-centric? Is it safe to say?
No, actually it was just a hamburger joint.
Okay.
And then my grandfather joined the Coast Guard during World War II, and he was stationed in San Francisco. And when he went out there, now my family had always been avid fishermen, but you didn't really, if you fish, you just put it on your plate. You didn't serve it in a restaurant. And when he went out to San Francisco, everything was about seafood. So when he came back and started working in the restaurant, he decided, well, take it out of the sea and put it on the plate, and that's kind of where the seafood started.
There you go, Tampa natives fans. A little trivia you can use the next time you're having a little trivia contest at the house.
And speaking of Tampa natives fans, I mean, you must have a lot of long-term customers too, right? Over
We
30
do.
years, 40 years, maybe longer.
We do. We've been very, very lucky. Everyone is so loyal, so kind. They love to share their stories. We keep saying we need to write a book because one day we're not going to have these stories
You
anymore.
really do. We talked about that.
That's so true.
We really need to write them down. And if you have any stories, feel free to share them. We have a Facebook page, or you can share them on Tampa Natives. We love to hear them. Good, bad, silly.
Or pictures.
Whatever they
pictures,
are.
yeah.
Yes,
I'm sure
absolutely.
There's some pictures out there that we can
Yes,
we can
as
solicit.
I told Mario earlier, we were really good at preparing food and serving our customers, but we were very bad historians.
And listen, after you've been here for 75 years, I mean, hooked on the Nade for 75 years, the stories are endless. Well, this would be a great time for us to kind of just segue real quickly. We'll come back to the history and the current events at the Colonnade, but Stacy has genuinely, yes, and generously decided that she's going to do a contest tonight for our viewers, and it's only for our Tampa Native Show fans. Stacy, tell everybody what you had in mind. This was genius. Tell everybody what you had in mind.
What we'd like everyone to do is go to our Facebook page, facebook.com, Colonnade Restaurant. Make sure to get the restaurant and the Colonnade. There are some Colonnades throughout the nation other than us. And then also go to the Tampa Bay Natives show if you've not already liked Tampa Bay Natives. Tampa Natives, sorry. Tampa Natives on Facebook, and also to like us at the Colonnade Restaurant. And then next Friday, we will draw 2 names of people that have liked both Tampa Natives and the Colonnade Restaurant on Facebook, and give away 2 $50 gift certificates.
$50 gift certificates.
That's quite a gift certificate.
$50 gift certificates. Okay, so here you go. Let's go ahead and let everybody know these are the ground rules. As per Stacy Whiteside, you want to go to the Tampa Natives Show fan page. Tampa Natives Show fan page. You also want to go to the Colonnade fan page and like us both. Poke us if you wish, that's your business, but you definitely have to like us. Then what Stacy's going to do is she's going to go ahead and cross-reference those lists. And if your name appears on both lists, you're going to be eligible for a random drawing. We hope it's random, because I want to win that thing too.
We already like it.
Yep. And she's going to give you 2 gift certificates next week. What a Thanksgiving that's going to be for some lucky Tampa Native Show fan, and for some lucky Colonnade Restaurant fan.
The day after Thanksgiving.
Well. The day after
And
Thanksgiving.
we're going to choose 2 people.
Okay, great.
So,
Wonderful.
Great.
Yep, so
2 people, 2 gift certificates. You can't go wrong with that. Stacy, what high school did you go to? Go ahead.
I went to the academy.
There you go.
Right next door until 9th grade, and then my parents actually moved to Anna Maria Island.
Oh,
And
nice.
I went to Manatee High School,
Go
which I know
Hurricanes.
has
Go Hurricanes.
yes, which has played Plant, but we still cheer for Plant because
Of
that's where our
course.
girls will go. Is
Yes.
Plant High School.
Yes.
So
What we've noticed is, and again, we've talked about this from time to time on the show, Plant High School has still to this day every bit of the panache, every bit of the allure that it's had for all these years. The Jim Judy and Mary Judy Brown talked about earlier, and people that have had their kids go there and they went there, they just want that tradition.
It's a tradition.
It's a tradition,
It will
and
never change.
And it's wonderful, and
It
it speaks to what it is that makes us so proud to be from Tampa.
That's right.
And you know, we argue the point vehemently here. Steve and I will fight this one out on the same side of the argument to the death. You know, when we were growing up, Stacy, Tampa Bay was where you went to fish and crab. But we lived in Tampa. So we made sure that we wanted to perpetuate that. You know, before the Buccaneers came here in '76, on WLCY radio, when they referred to this area, they referred to it as the Tampa St. Pete Clearwater area.
correct.
Right.
Because each municipality had its own identity. And we love that about us. And I'm sure if you talk to the people from Clearwater or the people from St. Pete, they're going to fight you on that too. Hey man, I'm from St. Pete, I'm not from Tampa Bay.
Right.
Right.
That's the water.
So let's just get that straight.
We've got more pictures and videos.
We've got videos.
We got
We've got videos. We met a young lady yesterday. A young lady, is it okay to say that? We met a lady yesterday, a nice lady yesterday, by the name of Smokey, who works in the Colonnade bar. Now, you think of the Colonnade, you think seafood, you think restaurant. You're forgetting. They have a working bar in there.
That's right.
And they've got patrons that go in there each and every week, and sometimes 2 times or 3. They're locals. And Smokey is there to greet them. Let's watch and say hello to Smokey. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Mario Nunez inside the Shipwreck Lounge at the Colonnade Restaurant. We're greeted here by Smokey, our barkeep. Smokey, how long have you been here?
Since December 1985.
December
24th, Christmas Eve.
That would be Christmas Eve if you're keeping score at home. Now, Smokey, I imagine over the 27 years you've been here, you've met maybe a famous person or 2 along the way.
Couple.
Well, tell us something about that.
I met Alan Jackson and his wife. I was walking outside, and I went to walk and turned around, came back, and His wife kind of glanced at me and shook her head like, yeah, because I was staring. And I came up on the porch and talked to him for a bit, came inside. After I came inside, they went and ate. When they came out, they stopped to say goodbye to me. They were very pleasant, very nice.
Did they get something to drink from you here, Smokey?
No, I don't think they were drinking because she was pregnant, and I think he had a show, so.
Alan Jackson, all 6'5" of him, I guess you'd be hard pressed for Alan to be keeping himself incognito.
Oh no, you knew him right away with a white hat.
Sure. Well, listen, if you haven't had a chance to get over here to the Shipwreck Lounge, please do so. Smokey, how often is this Shipwreck Lounge open?
We're open from the time the doors open till they close.
7 days a week? 7 days a week, 365 days a year?
We're closed 2 days a year, but Thanksgiving and Christmas. Other than that, we're here.
Get over here as quickly as you can and say hello to Smokey, and she'll pull you one of these ice-cold beers. For the Tampa Native Show, here we are, Shipwreck Lounge.
The Shipwreck Lounge.
How about that?
You know, I hardly resist the temptation and come sit right down in your hero tail.
Billy Gonzalez, that's right.
Yeah, Smokey was really, really nice. And like she said, she's been there, going on almost 30 years. So you can only imagine. I mean, she's beloved by the community. They know everybody first name. And I'm sure she's had more than her fair share of celebrity sightings in there. We've got some photographs that we'd like to show.
Some stories, too.
If you've got your phones handy and you've got a burning question you want to ask Miss Stacy, this is a good time. Operators are standing by. We've got phone lines open. Hey, look at that building right there. Stacy, talk about that.
No, that's the very first one.
That's
so that was the building that was built at the front of the property, and now that's the same building but enclosed.
Oh, I see how. Yeah, that's great. Look at the
look at the picnic tables outside.
Yes.
And that's when they first started allowing having people inside. And then this is the drive-in that probably a lot of your audience.
Well, you can tell by the cars because
Yes.
they started out in the 30s. It probably looked like about the 40s, and now we're into the 50s. Look at those cars.
Yep, and that's the same building. That's
that?
right off Bayshore there. So and actually, that building was still open when they built the restaurant that we have today.
Oh, okay, that's 60s and 70s. Yes.
It never really closed.
Well, look at that there. You recognize anybody in that photograph?
Probably some relative.
I was going to say, it might be.
It might be my grandfather there in the middle, but
Uh-huh.
I can't tell.
How about that? Talk to us a little bit about that.
It's in the center.
Yep, I can see it.
Yep, I
Colonnade.
can actually, my eyes are getting bad now.
No, well,
That's
advertising.
probably
It looks
one
really
of the
small
ads
on the
that we put
monitor. Yeah.
We've
got a caller on the line. That's wonderful. Stevie, take this one.
Let's do that. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Tony Gonzalez, Andrews Air Force Base.
Tony Gonzalez. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Tony Gonzalez, Andrews Air Force Base. Hi, Tony.
Thanks for calling, Tony.
How you doing?
Good.
We're doing great. Listen, turn down your viewing device so that that delay won't throw you off. Talk to us on the phone and ask Miss Whiteside any question you want about the Colonnade. I'm sure she can answer.
No, I was going to say, Colonnade was part of my spin, and when I was driving my car around, I'd go there. Maybe I could pick up a race or something. I'd make the Colonnade, go down to Flagler's and over to Jerry's. It'd be a circle that I would make.
Well, you know what? We thought yesterday, we had to be told this yesterday because, of course, we thought it was cruising because back, of course, cruising later meant something completely different. But anyway, it was actually referred to as?
Well, both cruising and buzzing.
Buzzing the Nade. Did you ever buzz the Nade, Tony?
Maybe different decades use different words.
Yeah. Did you ever buzz the Nade, Tony? Tony, did we lose you?
I think you did buzz
the Nade.
Nade.
Did we? I think Tony buzzed off.
Was he at Andrews Air Force Base?
It sounded to me like because he was. Oh, there he is, Tony. You're there.
I'm up here visiting.
Oh, great.
How about that?
Okay. He's up at Andrews Air Force Base visiting.
I'm up here visiting my daughter.
Wonderful, Tony.
Great.
Yeah,
Thanks
well,
for tuning in, too.
Did you get a chance to go online and pick a Bolita number?
Yeah, I already sent it in.
Good, excellent. Well, Tony, tell me, did you have a favorite meal, a favorite fond remembrance?
Story?
Did you propose to anybody there at that Colonnade? What'd you?
No, I used to go in there and talk to the guys and all that were there. We'd talk about cars, we'd show our cars off to each other. It wasn't like today. I'm talking about, back in the, 50s. I'm an old man, so.
Hey, listen, but that's a wonderful era. That's when it was probably, arguably, its most memorable incarnation was that third building, which was the drive-in. That's what most everybody remembers.
Yeah. And over there, you'd go over there, and most of the kids were from Plant.
Yeah, that's right. Plant.
And there were some
Little Robinson there. I'm
kids
thinking
there,
that the
too.
Robinson guys went north of Gandy because they knew some of the plant girls were there. You know what I'm saying
Girls
to
Academy.
you?
Vice versa.
Girls Academy,
Right.
exactly. Well, thank you, Tony, for always being there for
A
us.
couple of places I didn't go to in my day was north. I wouldn't go so far south on Dale Mabry, and I wouldn't go to 6 Mile Creek.
Okay. Well, you know, listen, and some of us didn't venture out to Citrus Park back in the day either because we knew there was a troll that lived under the bridge.
That's right.
And we were very careful not to go out there and get lost.
Yeah. I mean, you had to be careful where you went.
Yeah, of course.
You're
Tony,
safe at the Nade, though.
Be
Tony-
careful up there.
Be careful up there at Andrews. Come back to see us, and let's get together at Brocado's for a sandwich soon.
All right. Okay.
Bye,
Thanks.
Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
That's
Take
one of
care.
our ardent fans.
Tony's
Really.
another one of our fans. That whenever he gets a chance, he calls us, and he knows even, look, he's out of town. He's at Andrews Air Force Base.
Why don't we have Stacy tell us how the Colonnade got the name Colonnade?
Excellent,
Yeah, that's a
excellent.
good
Look at the
question.
15-minute girl
Yeah.
chiming right in there with a little question of her own. Go ahead, Stacy.
It was a drawing.
It was.
It was. My grandmother asked people to submit names.
Yes.
And they drew it. I don't know if it was out of a hat or a glass or what it was or a vase, but it was a drawing. And
Something as random as a drawing.
It was. And the reason that, and I should know her name, and I so apologize that I don't, but she actually, I think, still lives up in Washington State.
Wow.
The original invitation welcoming everybody or inviting them to come to the restaurant, she gave us that on our 50th anniversary
that?
because we didn't keep a copy of it.
You bad historians, you.
We are bad historians. So if you have anything out there of the Colonnade,
Please.
we'd love a copy of it. You
That
can
can go
keep
in
the
the book.
original.
All right, look, I'm going to go out on a limb, Stacy, and I'm going to say this. If you will hire me and Steve and the 15-minute girl, we will become the official curators of all things Colonnade.
Colonnade
And you know,
Museum. How
I'm
about
really
that?
surprised that you haven't carved out a little area there where you could have something like a gift shop.
I know.
Or a little nook
Yeah.
where you could sell either, not that you needed to, certainly not. I mean, everybody who's been to the Colonnade around lunchtime knows it's not really necessary, but I think people would love to take mementos with them. T-shirts or keychains or little visors or hats. I'm just saying.
For future book.
No, I think we absolutely should do it. And I've actually, Mayor Greco is a common
Guest?
guest of ours, actually in the lounge bar with
Okay.
Smokey. And I've talked to him about how we really should start a Tampa Treasures. Any business in Tampa that's been around for more than 25 years, they're
a
truly
good
a treasure, and not just restaurants. I mean, obviously the Columbia ourselves. Bella's just turned 25.
Yes.
There's a lot of restaurants. The Burns, they've just been here forever, and they truly are Tampa treasures.
Wright's Gourmet Sandwich Shop
Yes.
comes to mind.
And actually, she worked at the restaurant years ago.
Did she really?
She is my father's godmother.
Inside skinny. Look, that's a breaking news story right
We
there.
should have stole all those pie and cake recipes.
Mercy. Now you try to get in there at lunchtime. Good luck
know.
parking your car. Look, we've got another video that we took yesterday. We want to share that with you now. It's a little backstage look, if you will, at the kitchen. Watch this. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are behind the scenes at the Colonnade Restaurant. What you see here in the prep area is right over there. Those are the world famous Colonnade muffins. Over here you see some stone crab claws being prepared. Man, does that look delicious. And now, Matt, if you'll come with me, we'll walk right around the corner here and we'll look in on the fryers and the ovens. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a rare view behind the scenes at the Colonnade Restaurant. 75 years going strong in the same location. If you ever wanted to know what it looks like back here, well, here it is. And Stevie, you
I'm
got
getting
something
hungry.
there you want to...
Well, you mentioned when Tony called in, you asked him if he ever proposed to anyone at the Colonnade.
Yes.
And as it turns out, someone did. And it was on our Facebook forum.
Sure.
And here it is. It's actually from Kelly Antonori. She writes, "Oh, that's where Richard asked me to marry him at the Colonnade."
Oh, cool.
And yeah, isn't that something?
Read
And,
some of those, because these are interesting.
These are actually
These are chats from our Tampa natives.
I bet it was actually underneath the oak tree. We've had so many
Probably
people,
so.
the
Such
oak
a
tree in the
beautiful
front,
oak
so.
tree.
that have told us that they've been proposed underneath the oak tree.
There's been a lot of chatter on Facebook about the Colonnade. We have our own section, our own forum on that particular subject. But here's another one here. This is from Lisa Valenti. She said her father used to deliver produce there for many years. Fond memories. Does that ring a bell at all, the name? Mr.
Absolutely.
Valenti?
Yes, it does.
John John Kinley writes, olives in the Cokes and the best hamburgers with the special sauce. Of course, we talked about that already.
There you go.
But there were just one after another. Many, many comments and stories and memories shared on the forum.
Well, we are truly blessed.
Oh, yes.
We've just been very, very blessed, and everybody has been so kind. And we get so many people that come in that bring their entire family. So we'll have 4 or 5 generations enjoying dinner together, and it's just, and you can just hear them. You know, I kind of eavesdrop every once in a while, but you can actually hear them telling their stories.
The richness of the tradition. You know, people come pulling in there in the parking lot, and they know how to get to the Colonnade. We've got another caller.
Yeah,
Let's
speaking
go
of memories, right?
Here we go.
Another
caller,
caller.
you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Mario, it's George Ashland from Bluffton, South Carolina.
Well, hey, George Haslam from Bluffton, South Carolina. We love our first-time callers, and we love our out-of-town callers, and you're certainly qualified, George. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing great. Can you see us? Is the picture pretty good up where you are?
It's excellent. It's
good.
NPNs are doing good tonight.
Wonderful.
Good to hear.
Wonderful.
Good to hear.
Say hello to Miss Whiteside. Do you have a Colonnade story or question for us?
No, I just want to say, I spent a lot of my wayward youth at the Colonnade. Probably the first legal drink I ever took was at Colonnade.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Wayward youth.
Those were the days, George. Those were the days.
We've had that.
Wonderful, wonderful stories. And listen, you can't be in town in one location for 75 years and not have, that soil is just rich. I mean, with all the stories and all the, third generation now, maybe even fourth generation folks going by that restaurant. Of course, it was a meeting place after high school football games, was it not?
Just after high school.
Yeah, when I played ball there, that's the first place we'd hit after the game was the Colonnade.
Oh, the Nade, man. You buzz the Nade and see what was going on there and, maybe go away, maybe not. Great place. And when we were kids, we used to go up and down there. And, of course, the Bayshore had all those Christmas cards. It was a great place, a vantage point to see the fireworks on the 4th of July and New Year's Eve. Remember those?
That was the only place for fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just lost my train of thought there, but from my sophomore year to senior year in high school, that's pretty much where everybody hung out.
Absolutely.
At Colonnade after school, and they had one waitress there by the name of Betty, and Miss Whiteside was talking about the olives. If you want her good side, she always sneak you out an extra cup full of olives.
There you go.
Talk about that, yeah.
Boy, I'll be honest with you. I digress for a minute, George. I wish I had that olive concession back then, man, because it was probably pretty good.
Yeah, but every time I get back to Tampa, which is probably every couple of months, I go in there and see Smokey. Don't drink anymore. All I do is drink Diet Coke. But there's a whole core group of us. We had dinner there not too long ago. It was Fran and Mike McCall and just a whole bunch of us that went to plant that, like I said, every time we get there, we go to Colonnade.
Wonderful Tampa native show fans, all of them. And listen, include us in that next time you go over there. We'd like to join you all, and maybe we'll get Miss Whiteside to come over to the table, sing us a song or something. We don't know.
Oh, please no. Whitesides are known for cooking, not voices.
Y'all have a great show and brings back a lot of memories.
George, we thank you. We thank you for being there. And did you put in your Bolita number this week?
Say again?
Did you put in your Bolita number this week? Did you go to the website and put in that number?
He's there.
Absolutely. My old jersey number, 1225.
There you go.
Good luck.
Thank you, George. Thanks for calling. We really appreciate it.
Good to hear from you.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Good evening.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's
When
nice.
we get our out-of-town callers, and George has just recently come to the show, and here he is calling from Bluffton, South Carolina. I just think it's great.
Just wonderful.
First-time callers
Absolutely
all the time.
wonderful.
Well, we've got some more photos, Stacy, but feel free to talk over these photos and just kind of let us know what you're seeing here and educate everybody. What's going on there?
Gosh, I don't know.
Well,
I'm
no,
not
this is Mary Hatcher. She was an actress in the 40s
Oh,
to 60s.
that's right. That's right.
The
Okay.
bottom.
Now that is my grandmother.
Is it okay?
That is my and that I think was the early 40s.
Look at that cup of olives.
She was and my my grandmother would be on the right hand side. And I don't know if you can see any of the
Grandma was young there. She looked young.
Yeah, she was.
Now, who's that handsome dashing
Now
man?
that would be my great uncle.
Oh, cool.
And look at
So
those
Richard
prices.
Whiteside. Yes.
Yeah, the prices were amazing. 5 cents for a Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Hell, lemonade will get you close to your dime.
And then again, that's my grandmother. Those were one of the uniforms that they wore.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, we saw some. There was a picture. I think we might still have it there. The Saddle Oxfords. We love
Yes.
that picture too.
Yeah.
Homemade pies.
Yes, they were. Still are.
Well, I got to be honest with you. Yesterday, when we had that wonderful array of food that you saw there, Jeff also brought out a couple of desserts, and we didn't get a chance to show those, but the desserts went too. I mean, it was like, oh my. Desserts? Okay, I've got to push away now from the pasta salad because that strawberry shortcake is calling my name.
Speaking of calling, we have another caller on right now.
There you go, Steve.
Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, sir. This is Hugh from South Tampa.
Hi, Hugh from South Tampa, another one of our great fans. Hugh, say hello to Stacy Whiteside.
Thank you.
Hi, Hugh.
Hello, how are you tonight?
Very good.
I haven't been to the Colonnade since this last Monday.
Wait that long to go?
My goodness, Hugh, what took you so long, son?
I was going to tell you to get over there.
And I was with a lady friend of mine. We sat at the beautiful, along the beautiful view of the Bayshore there, and it is a great place to eat. It's just, my grandmother loved the place, and it has just gotten better throughout the years.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for carrying on the tradition. We really appreciate it. And next time you're in, I work every Sunday, and I work every Wednesday day. Come in. I would love to meet you.
That would be great. And you might mention, too, a lot of these pictures that you're showing are on the walls of the Colonnade.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And we're talking about one of the walls that has mirrors on it right now. My cousin Jay, who was in the film earlier, we're actually talking about drywalling that and bringing in even more pictures. And we even have pictures of my grandfather and my father sitting at Roosevelt Elementary. So not just pictures of the Colonnade, but
the family
and fishing pictures and all of that. So we're looking forward maybe in the next year or so getting those up. And if you have any pictures, please, we have a page on Facebook and you can post them on there. You can post them on the Tampa Native Show. We'd love to see them.
That's great. You guys have permission to do that. Hugh, go ahead.
What happened to my favorite sign, the one about we serve crabs?
Is it not there?
It's at the entrance.
Unless someone just took it down, it's right there at not the entrance where the ramp is, but the entrance that's paved and that goes up to the steps.
Goes up to the steps. You might have walked up the ramp and you might have missed it.
Oh, maybe I missed it there, but it's funny.
Tremendous, and well worth the walk around the steps just to see it, because you can't read that sign and not get a smile on your face.
Take a picture of it.
Anyway, it's an awesome restaurant, and it's a historical landmark and a wonderful place.
Well, thank you, sir. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Very welcome. We thank you.
Stop by and see Stacy. She's there on Wednesday and Sunday. She doesn't work a whole lot. You know, she's just in the back room with the cash register, counting the money. But stop by and see her. She's lovely and she's a wonderful hostess. She'll give you that. What a wonderful view of downtown Tampa too. When you're sitting in there in that one room that sits to the south side, to the north side there. Isn't that a great view of downtown?
Well, we always talk. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Hugh. We'll let you go. Did you sign up for the Bolita drawing? We're about to that time.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, bud. Thank you.
You'll love Hugh. He's a master of impersonations.
Yeah, Hugh's great. He's
good guy.
He was working with our show as well. Oh, we've got one more video to go? Actually, a couple more videos to go. Here's your cousin, Jay. Because we corralled him yesterday and took him back into the office and said, now show us where you make those executive decisions, Jay. You and Stacy. Here we go. Let's watch this. Well, as we continue our behind-the-scenes look here at the Colonnade Restaurant, we've encountered Mr. Jay Whiteside, third-generation owner of the Colonnade Restaurant. Jay, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family's history, and maybe you can tell us how the Colonnade got its name.
Oh, goodness. Let me see. Family history, we've been here since 1935. Excellent. Great-grandfather started it for my grandparents. They passed it down to their kids. My parents passed it down to us. Fourth, fifth generation.
How long have you been working here now at the restaurant?
I've been here around 18 years. Yeah.
And the Colonnade, tell everybody, because they might be interested in knowing how it got its name.
I believe it was a contest. Plant High School had a contest right when we first opened. Decided you guys can do a better job. You're more creative than we are. You can come up with a name. So I think they drew it from a hat. And the Colonnade stuck since day one.
And listen, I would be remiss if I got out of here without asking you about those that bowl full of chocolate mints by the door. You were telling us earlier a neat little story about those chocolate mints. Tell us again.
We check them when they come in because they want to pick at them before they get their dinner, so we want to make sure they save room. But they're definitely very popular.
Yeah, people will create a fuss if those chocolate mints are not there. Now listen, 75 years going strong in the same location. If you haven't been out here to the Colonnade, what are you waiting for? Come by and say hello to Jay Whiteside and Stacy Whiteside. Mario Nunez, the Tampa Native Show.
And we're back.
Listen, those I was going to ask you how that whole phenomenon got started. Obviously, somebody in the family, you know, it could have been a trial and error thing. Right. They could, because Jake was talking about, well, it started out with, remember those little, kind of looking like little pillows, the mints that, you know, you first put those out. And they were pretty popular in the 50s and 60s and at the restaurants. But there's something magical that happens when you mix chocolate with mint together. And Jay was saying yesterday that if you guys run out of those mints.
Oh, it's a riot.
Yeah, yeah. People will just, they'll storm the castle.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
They will storm the castle. Well. When we get to that time, sometimes it's a sad time, sometimes it's a happy time.
Sometimes
it comes so fast to the time.
And sometimes it's that time. Darling, do you have something to say?
I have something to sing.
Well.
We're so glad we've had this time together just to share a laugh or sing a song. But there's only 15 minutes left to go, boys. So you better step it up a notch.
Very good.
Lovely.
Very good. 15-minute girl.
That was wonderful, darling. Thank you.
You know, the Colonnade.
That means we've got 15 minutes to go, by the way.
It's not just a landmark, it's a tradition also.
Yeah, no.
It really is. It's so much a part of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and Stacy was saying that she's blessed that she has faithful customers and loyal diners.
And we're blessed that we have the Colonnade.
Yeah, I think that's
thank you.
That door swings both ways.
Thank
We've got
you.
another couple of photographs we want to show real quick as well. So, Stacy, if you see anything here that looks just the least bit familiar.
How about this?
That was just a logo that we did last year for our 75th anniversary. So, and hooked on the Nade since 1935.
When did it change to the Nade?
It's always, it just got nicknamed the Nade.
Really? From way back?
Yeah,
okay.
So from the
That's
very
what the cool
beginning.
people call it.
Yeah, so they all shortened it. And then all the boats in the family were named the Nade too. We were real original.
Yeah, Nade 1, Nade 2, Nade 3.
Hey, it keeps things easy.
Exactly.
You can see that. Well, I thought you were going to hit the button. Oh, go ahead.
There you go.
Well, you know, and that's, you can see the license plate too, right? The vanity license plate. Nade 1, Nade 2, Nade 3. And if you haven't thought about that, what are you waiting for?
I know.
What are you waiting for? Well, listen.
Is it the time?
Yeah, it's that time. Let's go ahead and
this is Stacy drawing.
Yeah, we absolutely. We have a guest of honor this week, and Steve.
So it's all my fault.
Because I don't know why they put a knot in the bag, and you know we should check that in pre-production.
Mark, tell Stacy what happens with the Bolita drawings. The strangest things happen.
Okay. And we had something like this we talked about just today.
Tonight.
We had lunch today at Amarilli's Sandwiches and More in West Tampa, which we do on Wednesdays because
you told me about it.
We call it the Tampa Native Show Days lunch special, and Juan and Amy are so gracious. And you know, typically what happens when we have a guest, a first-time caller will win the Bolita drawing, or the guest
relative
will win something. Mystical, magical happens.
Something where it looks like it's
and we talked about it today, and ladies and gentlemen, to set this up, we talked about it today. My father, bless his heart, he wanted me to rig this thing so that I pulled a number out. Didn't matter what it was, but I just called out 29. That's the number he picked. And I told him, I said, Pop, I love you, Pop, with all my heart, but I'm not going to do it. So Stacy is going to pull out 29. Now you can see there's no tricks here. I'm not even wearing sleeves.
Okay, if I pull out 29, I'm going to play the lottery.
If she pulls 29, Pop, it's your day.
Strange things happen. So
okay.
Magical, mystical. Here it comes. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, okay. All right. That'll work.
Good.
Pop, sorry. Well, maybe. Let's see what happens. The number, Stacy, go ahead and let everybody know.
18.
The number is 18. Darling?
That would be
Closest to without going over.
Go to your father.
Oh, my gosh.
Rick Parnell.
Ricky T. Parnell?
He won last
He's
week.
quite a winner.
Ricky T. Parnell? Let me tell you something, Ricky T. Parnell. I'm getting tired of mailing stuff to Brazil to you.
He's watching from Brazil.
Cost me $30 to mail you a T-shirt. Hell, the T-shirt don't cost that much. But let's show everybody. No, that's great. Listen, and if you win 2 more shirts, you'll have enough for the whole family.
The whole population of Brazil.
We have a Tampa Natives parade.
Isn't that great? There it is, right there. Yeah, in Brazil. Ricky T, you're one lucky son of a gun.
Yes, he is.
Ricky T, we should tell you, he's been with us since the early days on the show. Lives in
Brazil, Curitiba,
Brazil, which is about 2 hours south of Sao Paulo. And we think he's on the land, but we can't be sure. We think he's running from the IRS. No, Ricky's down there teaching, actually he's teaching English. Married a Brazilian woman, he's down there teaching English to the Brazilian kids. Wonderful guy. What a tried and true Tampa native he is. And Here we go. This is the second week in a row Ricky's won, so we may have to put the kibosh on Ricky and pull his number for a minute.
He was actually in town here a couple weeks ago.
He makes it up here, and whenever he does come up here, he always comes with gifts, and we exchange gifts, and Ricky's a great guy. And if you go to our fan page, you'll see him on there.
Wonderful.
Yeah, the fans are very connected to the show.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
What a great show. Listen, we have a little something worked out at the end of the show here. Don't forget, us, Tampa Natives show page,
and
the Colonnade. Like us. Stacy's going to give away two mints in one, two drawings, day after Thanksgiving,
$50
two $50 gift certificates to come in now. Stacey,
early Christmas present.
Early Christmas presents. Bear with us, darling. We've got something that we must, with a little bit of housekeeping that we must take care of.
Okay.
For those of you that are interested, it goes a little something like this. I want everybody to know that the 15-minute girl and I yesterday tried this Ben & Jerry's ice cream. It's called Stephen Colbert's Americone Dream. And I got to be honest with you, it's awful. You can't eat this. You can't wash your car with it. You can't even soak your feet in it. It's just awful. That said, Stevie,
how about this?
Bust out the spoons.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me say for the record,
it's nice and cold too.
This is late night snack. This is Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy, my good man. Stevie, can you get it?
No, I don't think so.
Can you get it, Stevie? We're on live TV, Stevie. We don't have a lot of time.
There we go.
There it is.
There we go.
Okay. Jimmy Fallon, my friend.
It smells good.
Pretty good.
This one is for you.
Wow.
That's delicious.
That's good. Can I have the rest
Stephen Colbert? I don't think so. Jimmy Fallon, my good friend, late night snack. If you haven't tried it, this one's for you. Let me just say, Stacy, that
fantastic.
It's been a pleasure having you with us today.
Well, thank you very much, Mario.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
How much time do we have before we have to say goodbye? Okay. Let me just say that if we can get you back in here at some point in time down the road, if not, we'll come out and do an event over there and we'll bring the camera crew and we'll come see you. Thank you so much to you and your family for being here and for feeding us all these wonderful years.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So on behalf of myself, my co-host, Steve Cannella, the 15-minute girl just off camera, we're going to throw it back to that correspondent at the Colonnade and say, Jimmy Fallon, late night snack, this one's for you. We'll see you next week.
Well, as we come to the close of another Tampa Native show, we'd like to say thank you very much to Stacy and Jay Whiteside, to our guests in the studio, the Judys, for sharing their wonderful story about the development of Bayshore Boulevard. You know, for 75 years, this restaurant has been going strong. From its humble beginnings as a hamburger and seafood shack to its incarnation as a drive-in restaurant where kids were known to buzz the Nade on a Friday and Saturday night to ultimately a fine dine-in experience. The Colonnade Restaurant, serving wonderful seafood. What a tradition. If you haven't been here in a while, get over here quick. Say hello to Margaret. She'll greet you and seat you, and get into the bar and see Smokey. She'll pour you a cold one. On behalf of the 15-minute girl and my co-host Steve Cannella, this is Mario Nunez saying salute and happy days. Thanks for being there. We'll see you again next week.
I'm touched the truth. Remember, this guy knows all you need. He's a little say. This guy knows everything. When he'll sit there and talk to you for hours and hours. Right now. And now the people. Well, then. Come on, that's exciting. Come on, before you know it's something. Right to us. He's not easy. I'm walking inside the people. Back when we were younger, and everything seemed new. We used to have a lot of fun, yes we did, no matter what we do. Sleeping days, long summer nights, going anywhere we pleased. This love I've always called my own, a love that I've always known. The city that I call my home, the home from which I never roamed. This love affair was meant to be. Oh, I love her and she loves me. Yes, I remember Tampa. She remembers me.